WWE has made major commentary changes to all three brands: Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and Tuesday night on NXT. But I ask, how did WWE make their commentary situation worse than it was before? I got news on Jeff Hardy. When is Jeff Hardy coming back to AEW? And I got an update on the Sammy Guevara and Andrade backstage fight coming out of Wednesday's Dynamite. All this plus so much more right here on Off the Script.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is October 7th, 2022. I am JD from New York, as always, coming to you from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Friday afternoons, wherever you may be. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of all the top stories and what your opinion is on the new Monday night, Friday night, and Tuesday night commentary teams in WWE. Hit that subscribe button as well down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. And, as always, 1,000 likes minimum on today's OTS Extra. Let's get right into it, man. I was at the New York City Comic-Con yesterday. Had a great time. Spent a little bit too much money, but that's what happens with these type of events that come to the city, man, once a year. So I had a good time yesterday. But as I was there, news broke that WWE is undergoing several changes. We know of the changes that Triple H has done already across all of WWE. And with the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown tonight, which I'm incredibly excited about, we got Sheamus versus Gunther with the Intercontinental title on the line. We got a possible NXT call-up as well tonight. I'll get into that as well here on the Extra. Should be a big night. And then Monday Night Raw, we have the season premiere this coming Monday on Monday night from the Barclays Center in New York City. We see the change that Triple H is doing with WWE, but this may be one of the biggest things that he's changed so far in all of the company. Commentary changes on Monday night, Friday night, and Tuesday night across WWE. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett will be the main commentators for SmackDown going forward after Barrett has been used on NXT alongside Vic Joseph. Samantha Irving will serve as the ring announcer. Kayla Braxton and Megan Morant will be the backstage interviewers on Friday Night SmackDown. Now, this is the one that I don't like. I don't know how they somehow made the commentary team on Monday night worse. And I feel like Monday night has not had a solid commentary team in many, many, many years. Now, I get that it's a tough thing to do and go out there and find somebody with a voice that's going to fit WWE, but I don't necessarily think that this is a good move. Kevin Patrick, he was doing Raw Talk. He was doing commentary on main events. I mean, who watches main events? But I've kind of clued in on what he is and what he sounds like by watching some clips on main event. Not a fan. He does the backstage interviews, or was doing the backstage interviews on Monday night. Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves will be the commentary team on Monday Night Raw. No more Byron Saxton. So one thing I want to point out to you guys is that so far, we have 2 commentators on SmackDown and 2 commentators on Monday Night Raw. That may be the only thing so far that I like about this, is that Triple H is getting rid of the need for 3-man commentary teams. I hope Tony Khan follows suit, because I don't think that AEW needs 3, 4, 5 commentators at one time. 2 on Dynamite, 2 on Rampage, and Triple H seems to be doing this and adopting this mentality on Monday and Friday night and NXT as well. Kevin Patrick, Corey Graves. Patrick worked as a backstage correspondent, a play-by-play commentator for Main Event, and was the host of Raw Talk. Now, where is Jimmy Smith? Jimmy Smith was basically let go. I don't know the details of that, if he was let go, if he had a contract coming up and they just didn't really want to re-up him. I don't know what that is, but he did go on his podcast, the Unlocking the Cage podcast, and Jimmy Smith revealed that he pieced together that he was getting fired. I guess that there it is. He got fired on Monday before Raw after a conversation with Triple H. Listen to this. He found out that he was getting fired without actually Triple H saying that he was going to get fired. Triple H accidentally told me before the show on Monday, he screwed up and told me. He didn't mean to. What happened was I was doing my prep for the show, and we had a production meeting. On air, Seth Rollins had cut a promo saying DC, Daniel Cormier, hates Riddle just as much as I do. Everybody in the production meeting turns to me and goes, what did he mean? Do they have some kind of personal problem? I'm the MMA guy, right? I said, well, Riddle has been critical of fighter pay. UFC and Daniel Cormier is considered kind of a company guy. That could be what he's talking about. Before the show, I'd go up to Riddle and say, do you and DC have any beef? No, we're cool. He might be upset that I out-wrestled John Jones and he couldn't. Riddle took first place at State, and whatever place John Jones was, he beat John Jones at wrestling twice in New York. He may be mad I out-wrestled John Jones twice. That's a good line. I'm going to use that. I go to Triple H and go, I just talked to Riddle. He gave me this line about how he out-wrestled John Jones. Triple H goes, okay, cool. Give that note to Michael Cole. I went, why would I have to give that note to Michael Cole? I'm calling the match on Saturday. Oh, I'm not calling the match on Saturday. Oh, I'm probably fired. In about 2 seconds, my brain went, okay, that's weird. I knew basically the whole show Monday night that I wasn't coming back. When I got the call Tuesday, I wasn't surprised. So that's how Jimmy Smith kind of pieced the puzzle together and found out that he wasn't going to be at Extreme Rules on Saturday night, and Monday Night Raw was his last show with WWE. Smith said Michael Cole was the one who called him on Tuesday to let him know of the news and that he wasn't mad or anything about it because he knows the business that he works in and the life that he signed up for. Classy guy is Jimmy Smith. Now, my opinion on Jimmy Smith really didn't change from the first day that I heard him till Monday night this past Monday. He did an admirable job. I mean, he wasn't as bad as Adnan Virk. I mean, let's be real. But Jimmy Smith, no matter how much background he has in cage fighting and something like combat sports, his voice didn't gel. I don't know what it is. It's very difficult for me to explain this. His voice did not gel with Monday night. His voice didn't gel with the WWE product. Now, I may have high standards. I have high standards in everything that I do, no matter what I'm doing in my life. I have high standards. My high standard is Mauro Ranallo. I mean, I'm not expecting everybody to be as good or on the level of a Mauro Ranallo, but to find a voice for WWE seemingly has been a very difficult thing for them to do over the past several years. Jimmy Smith was not it. I understand that they had to move on from Adnan Virk and they couldn't have Byron Saxton do the lead commentary on Monday night. Corey Graves is not that type of guy. They fit their roles in what roles that they've been given right now. But Jimmy Smith was not it. I'm sorry. He did an admirable job. He was fine as a fill-in. He was never set to be the voice for 20 years on Monday Night Raw. He just wasn't it, and I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone, but, I mean, Kevin Patrick isn't really the best suitable replacement for Jimmy Smith. If you're asking me, I'd like to have Jimmy Smith back and not have Kevin Patrick in there as well. I already got the geeks telling me, oh, why don't you give it a chance? Who knows? I gave Jimmy Smith a chance. It didn't sit well with me. Same thing is going to happen with Kevin Patrick. You're not going to change my opinion on that. His voice is not the voice I want to hear as a play-by-play commentary for 3 hours. I'm sorry. That's just the way that I feel about the situation. When it comes to commentary, you need to have somebody there that you want to listen to every single week. I don't want to listen to him. I didn't want to listen to Jimmy Smith. I didn't want to listen to Adnan Virk. I mean, I know we can't have Michael Cole do both shows, but at this point, if you can't find anybody better than Michael Cole, then Michael Cole should be the voice of WWE until he retires. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it's going to be for me. Now, Smith apparently has jobs lined up already. Now, he may have work lined up, according to Daily Star. This is funny. This is not going to happen, but I figured I'd throw it in here for shits and giggles. Daily Star is reporting that Jimmy Smith may have been offered the chance to pursue a lucrative new career, one that you might not expect. Smith was allegedly approached by the adult webcam service, Cam Soda, to get your mind out of the gutter, to provide running commentary on nude scenes in exchange for a $500,000 salary. Maybe I should email them. Sounds like a good deal. In an email, I'm only kidding, by the way. In the email, the company says, so when a model undresses herself or twerks, Smith can describe it in detail to heighten the experience for the viewer. Listen, I don't know, man. $500,000 is a lot of money, man. We'll see. So I'd like to extend you a contract, they said. Contract offered to commentate on private adult webcam sessions for Cam Soda, an adult entertainment webcam platform for 1 year. You'd provide play-by-play commentary for steamy action happening on camera, as well as live events the company runs throughout the year, including Car Wars and Beer Pong. Sounds like a good deal. In return for you, as role as an announcer, I'd be willing to compensate you $500,000. Hey. Door is open, Jimmy Smith. It's a lot of money, man. We'll see what happens. Mike Rome will continue to be the ring announcer. Kathy Kelly is coming back. That's a good move. She was very good at her job. Byron Saxton will conduct on-screen interviews as well alongside Kathy Kelly on Monday night. Kelly is returning to WWE after leaving the company in 2020, while Saxton has been working on the Raw commentary desk alongside Graves and Jimmy Smith since May. I much rather see Byron Saxton in a backstage interview role than on color commentary. I did not like him at all. He was very Vince McMahon-esque. His voice just resonated with me as being Vince and Bruce era. I'm glad he's gone. Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick, man, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm glad Corey Graves is still on Monday Night Raw and they didn't diminish his role. He's the best that they got. For NXT, Vic Joseph and Booker T will be commentators on NXT. This is a little weird, man. I don't know how they made the NXT commentary team worse. Not only do we got to hear Booker T, now we got to hear Vic Joseph alongside Booker T. Vic Joseph. Every fucking move. It's ridiculous. Vic Joseph is not good. I'm sorry. I tried. I had one positive thing to say about him. His energy is there, but his voice does not fit NXT, man. I'm sorry. His voice does not fit NXT. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Booker T, hot and cold, give or take. Some people like him, some people don't. I don't think he's going to fit NXT at all. So we will see what happens. I don't know why. I don't know what happened to Nigel McGuinness. I don't know what happened to Nigel McGuinness, man. I got stories on Nigel McGuinness. Alicia Tyler is the ring announcer. Mackenzie Mitchell will continue as the backstage interview. Those are the two strongest points in the NXT production department here. Alicia Tyler is great at what she does. Mackenzie Mitchell is awesome at what she does. The commentary team has not been the same since Mauro Ranallo and Nigel McGuinness, man. I'm sorry. That was the best commentary team that WWE has had since Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. That's just the way I feel on that. That was basically the heart and soul of NXT. They never even came close anywhere on the main roster to those two guys. I loved both of them. They had a connection that was just absolutely brilliant for NXT. Cole and Graves, they will be the commentary team for the premium live events. So they're going, I love this. I love the aspect of this. Cole and Graves will be all of the pay-per-views going forward. I like that. You take your two best, you put them on pay-per-view, boom, there you go. I like it. I like the mentality of that. So changing up the commentary teams is one of the things that Triple H had wanted to change since taking over Creative in July. There's a lot of questions, though. There's a lot of questions. Where does Pat McAfee fit in? I think Wade Barrett on Friday night is going to be a great move for SmackDown. I think Wade Barrett was great on NXT. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett will be the commentary team on SmackDown moving forward. So alongside Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves, SmackDown remains as the #1 commentary team in all of WWE. They are moving him to Friday night away from Tuesday night in replace of Booker T there on Tuesday night. Wade Barrett's going to feel great on Friday, and I think he's going to be a very good complement to Michael Cole. Where does Pat McAfee fit in? Pat McAfee will be right there on Friday night. No matter what happens with Friday night, when Pat McAfee's college football season is over as an analyst, he will be right back on Friday night alongside Michael Cole. What that means is he will be there. Wade Barrett could potentially be there as a color. We could see the three-man booth, but probably not, because everything lined up so far is 2-2-2. Wade Barrett may be just filling in for Pat McAfee right now because outside Corey Graves, Wade Barrett's the best color commentator they got. He may be right now just filling in on Friday night for Pat McAfee, and Booker T may be filling in for Wade Barrett right now. And when things get back to normal, we will see Wade Barrett back on Tuesday night alongside Vic Joseph and Pat McAfee there every week on Friday night. That's my prediction for that. So I do think that the Booker T thing with Vic Joseph on Tuesday night is just a temporary thing until Wade Barrett finishes his duties on Friday night, until Pat McAfee comes back after college football season. That's just my prediction on that. But how do they make the WWE commentary teams worse? The backstage interviewers, they got great, right? The ring announcers, they got Mike Rome is awesome, Alicia Tyler's awesome, Samantha Irving is awesome. They got great ring announcers. How the fuck did they fuck this up? It's got to be a really difficult thing, but I don't know, man. Kevin Patrick isn't it. I'm telling you right now. I know a thing or two. One of the things I know is commentary. It is the most vital part of the sound of your pro wrestling product. If you do not have a good commentator, I don't know how many people are going to be interested in listening to Kevin Patrick every week. I'm not going to be one of those guys. I'll give him a shot. I'll give him a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. By week 4, I'm going to tell you this ain't working out. Same thing happened with Vic Joseph. Same thing happened with Adnan Virk. Same thing happened with Jimmy Smith. It's not going to be something that you want to listen to on a weekly basis. Where's Nigel McGuinness? Nigel McGuinness was released by WWE, according to a report today by PW Insider and later confirmed by Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp. McGinnis was released. I wish I could go for a Guinness. McGuinness was released by the company earlier this week. He has yet to comment publicly on the departure. We don't know if it was voluntary by Triple H because he didn't need him. We don't know if he asked for his release and it was granted. We don't know that yet. So keep that in mind. McGuinness would be a great hire for any promotion, whether as a commentator or a coach producer. With his Ring of Honor history, it would make sense for Tony Khan to hire him with the relaunch of a possible weekly TV show for Ring of Honor. I'll get into that in a second. McGuinness signed with WWE back in 2016, initially as an announcer for WWE's UK Classic before being brought on as a commentator for various shows, including NXT alongside Morrow, NXT UK, Main Event, and 205 Live. He did it all, and he excelled, and he was excellent at what he did. McGuinness was offered a WWE deal in September of 2006 to wrestle, but the deal was pulled after he didn't disclose a previous biceps injury during a medical pre-screening. His doctor thought the injury was healed, and he was good enough to wrestle, but WWE's doctors then instructed Nigel McGuinness to undergo surgery to repair the old injury. Nigel couldn't afford the surgery, so he declined to do so, and WWE pulled the offer. McGuinness went on to work for Impact Wrestling, but the run was derailed after he was diagnosed with hepatitis C, later cured, and he was forced to retire in 2011. Nigel was a top star back in the early days of Ring of Honor with memorable matches against Danielson, Austin Aries, Jay Briscoe, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins now, and many, many others. He's a former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion and a former Ring of Honor Pure Champion. I don't know Nigel's story. I don't know his medical history, even though we went over it a little bit here. I don't know what his current status is on his medical history. I don't know what had happened with him in WWE. It would be very weird. I don't know. So I'm going to make a guess, a logical guesstimation here. Triple H ran NXT, and the pride and joy of NXT was its commentary team, and he knew that. Paul Levesque knew that. I don't think Triple H sat there with Nigel and not wanting to use Nigel. I don't think that's the case. I'm going to make an assumption here. This is just my opinion. I think Nigel asked for his release. I think Nigel McGuinness asked for his release, and I honestly think Nigel wants to do more than just do commentary. Now, this is where Tony Khan comes into play. Obviously, Ring of Honor has had a rebirth for now until they get a TV deal. It sounds like we're getting more Ring of Honor on AEW than AEW. But Ring of Honor right now is up and running somewhat. Nigel sees this. How great would it be if he is actually good to go and Nigel is cleared and there's a medical history there that is fresh and clean and he's able to go for a couple of matches? How great would it be for Nigel McGuinness to come out of retirement and wrestle Chris Jericho at the next Ring of Honor pay-per-view with the current Ring of Honor storyline going on right now around the world title and Chris Jericho desecrating the Ring of Honor world title and kind of shitting all over the honor that that title brings to wrestling and him using sports entertainment tactics with it and cheating to win, kind of desecrating the entire legacy of the title. How great would that be if Nigel McGuinness, of all the fucking ex-champions that we could bring back and possibly have a run with Chris Jericho here until the story culminates with Daniel Garcia being the guy to beat Jericho, how great would that be for Nigel McGuinness to come back out of retirement and face Jericho one-on-one at a next Ring of Honor pay-per-view? Tony Khan is already seeing this. I guarantee you, bells are already going off in TK's head. That would draw big numbers for Ring of Honor, just based on the fan base that they already have that never left. And seeing that on pay-per-view would be a big deal for the Ring of Honor faithful. I think that would be awesome. Now, if Nigel wants to do commentary, if Tony Khan is interested in Nigel McGuinness, he's getting more than just a pro wrestler. He's getting a commentary guy. He's getting somebody that can coach, somebody with a great mindset and knowledge to bring to that locker room. I don't know what Tony Khan is thinking as far as his commentary team. I honestly think AEW's commentary team is one of the weakest points of their show. Tony Schiavone's fine. Taz is great. Excalibur's Excalibur, he's fine. I never really felt Jim Ross is not there on a weekly basis fully. I never felt that it was their strong suit. I feel like it's suitable to get by on a week-to-week basis. I don't know what the man is up to. I don't know if he wants to go out there and do pro wrestling. I don't know what his mindset is in the world of pro wrestling. If Mauro Ranallo wants to do pro wrestling, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm opening up my checkbook, I'm throwing a blank check at Mauro Ranallo, and I'm throwing money at him, whatever he wants, to do AEW pay-per-views 4 or 5 times a year. You bring him on in, and you have Mauro and Nigel McGuinness do every AEW pay-per-view for the entire year. That is not something that is out of the realm of possibility. That sounds like a very doable thing if it's Mauro, Nigel, and Tony Khan. That's just me. I would love to hear Mauro and Nigel every week, but I don't know if they want to do that every week. You can't start hoarding commentary, guys. But if Nigel and Mauro are out there and are able to come back together and do commentary, I don't know, man. I'm just throwing it out there. I may be in fantasy land over here. One may be dreaming a little bit too much. But if you can make that happen, I'm making that fucking happen right now. Nigel, I do think Xtra is released, and I do think Nigel wants to do more than just fucking commentate for 205 Live. It may involve pro wrestling, and with the current Ring of Honor championship situation with Chris Jericho, it would be a perfect fit in for him to come back out and just appear and challenge Chris Jericho as one of the former Ring of Honor champions who is upset at Jericho for disgracing the Ring of Honor championship. So we'll see. We got a lot of commentary changes going on right now. Nigel McGuinness was let go by WWE. A lot's going on right now. I will keep you guys updated on all this going into the next couple of weeks and months on WWE and AEW television. I got an update on the Andrade Sammy Guevara situation. Now, this is coming from PW Insider and Dave Meltzer, I believe. Meltzer is the one that's reporting this. It should be noted that varying accounts will have varying details in regards to situations like this, but most of the accounts that we've heard of thus far have indicated that Andrade was the aggressor and Guevara made attempts to not participate in the fight. Fine, that's great. So Sammy Guevara did not participate in the fight. It was Andrade who was the aggressor. Do you know where Sammy Guevara threw his name into that? You know where he participated? It was online. It was on social media. And words are just as stern and just as intense as you throwing fucking fists. The words led to what happened on Wednesday night before Dynamite. So as far as I'm concerned, Sammy Guevara may not be on the same level of guilt as Andrade, but he is just as guilty as Andrade. Many accounts we've heard indicated that Andrade arrived and had waited to see Sammy Guevara, threw a couple of punches before it was broken up. Both men have been spoken to and warned about not fighting and had assured management they wouldn't be fighting. Several talent even said that they expected it to be squashed as opposed to the fight. Wrestling Observer also heard many details. They heard that Andrade was told he wouldn't be fired in the event of a fight, which we haven't confirmed here at Fightful. Few of the accounts claim that Guevara also shoved Andrade. There it is. He put his hands on Andrade. He is just as guilty as Andrade. Though that's how the initial information filtered in. That side was more in line with what Andrade's side of things were claiming. Since then, much more information has emerged. Guevara was left on TV. Andrade was sent home. And Guevara, was in the main events and even won the pinfall, got the pinfall in the main event with Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, and Bryan Danielson. Andrade basically was sent home. No match on Wednesday. No match on Friday. Was scheduled to be Mask versus Career. Him and Preston Vance, number 10. I said this on social media. Andrade looks like he is trying to get fired. And I will have more on this weekend's podcast. If Andrade does not want to be there, if nobody wants to be there, Tony Khan needs to get these people together, wrap them up in one big fucking box, put a nice pretty bow on it, and send them to fucking Stanford and get them the fuck out. If Andrade does not want to be there, get fucking rid of him. Simple. Now, Tony Khan already came out and said that he's not releasing anybody. How funny would it be if Tony Khan doesn't release Andrade and uses him as he wishes, like he's paying him to do, and buries him on TV? I could see that happen. I could see Tony Khan keeping him under AEW contract, sitting home and doing nothing, but that wouldn't be fair. Tony Khan is a fan of pro wrestling. That's not really being fair to the fans of pro wrestling. People want to see Andrade wrestle, right? He could do any one of those things. I don't know what he's going to do. But Andrade clearly doesn't want to be there. So I say, get rid of him. Sammy Guevara, on the other hand, oh, you jump into conclusions. Sammy Guevara is innocent and blah, blah, blah. You know, you jump to conclusions. You didn't wait for the whole story to come. I don't need the whole fucking story. I don't. There is favoritism in AEW. That is a problem. That needs to change. You can't be buddy drinking White Claws with the fucking favorites on your roster and then treat them differently than everybody else. That is going to amount to a big fucking issue in the locker room. Tony Khan needs to be a boss and not a fucking drinking buddy to have the locker room. Number one. Number two, this is not the first time that Sammy Guevara has fell under some fucking incident in AEW. He used the R word in relation to Sasha Banks. He had a problem with Eddie Kingston. He's had other problems with several others, whether it's attitude or miscommunication or ego, whatever the case may be. Now we got Andrade here picking a fight with Sammy Guevara and him, Sammy Guevara, instigating online to Andrade, which led to the fucking fight. There needs to be a situation of things that happens in the locker room. If you get zinged for one, warning. Second time you do it, 60 days. Third time you do it, you're fucking fired. Sammy Guevara should be given one more final stern warning. You fuck up one more time and you go against company policy and you take things into your own hands and neglect the company and neglect the boss and neglect management. One more time and Sammy Guevara is fucking fired. They don't need Andrade and they certainly don't need Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is very, very replaceable. No matter how great he is, Sammy Guevara is very replaceable. Sammy Guevara apparently is disrespecting the fucking locker room and disrespecting the company. So did Andrade. They should both be fucking reprimanded after what the fucking company went through on All Out Weekend. Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley tried to set everybody straight and get that locker room back in order, and this is what they go and do? How do you think that fucking locker room, who wants a harmonious locker room, how do you think that locker room is thinking about this situation? You think they're fucking happy with the actions of Andrade and Sammy Guevara? They probably don't want to see this happen anymore, and here these guys are after being spoken to. No fights. They were spoken to before it happened, and they still went ahead and defied management. To me, that is punishable action. Nobody wants this. The locker room don't want it. The fans certainly don't fucking want it. Something needs to be done. Andrade doesn't want to be there? Get rid of him. Sammy Guevara, he wants to completely defy the fucking management team and Tony Khan and AEW one more time, and he's going to get fired as well. That's what needs to happen. I'm sorry. Enough of this shit. Both are a fucking embarrassment. I got an update on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy apparently is not expected back with AEW anytime soon. PW Insider is reporting today that Hardy is still officially with the company, but he's not going to be brought back until his legal issues are cleared up. Hardy has a pretrial hearing for his DUI scheduled this Wednesday, 10/19, October 19th. Hardy's attorneys previously waived his right to a speedy trial. The pretrial hearing was initially set for July, but it was pushed back at the request of his attorneys and now is scheduled for this month. In addition to wanting his legal issues to be cleared up, AEW also wants Hardy to show that he can maintain his sobriety. He has been in treatment for some time after his arrest earlier this year. Jeff's brother, Matt Hardy, recently stated that fans will see a new Jeff Hardy when he eventually returns. We send our best wishes to Hardy. We hope he gets better, and we hope that he's back on TV, giving the fans one final run in the Hardy run of his career. We want to see him operating at his best right now at this current stage of his life and his career. That's all we want. I don't know what's going to happen there when he's coming back, but again, no rush. We don't need Jeff Hardy back on TV. Some people may not want him back on TV, period. They're over that Hardy reunion, Matt and Jeff, and they're all over that. But he can be an asset to them if he's clean and sober. But we don't need Jeff Hardy back on AEW television. I say take all the time you need. And if we don't see him on TV this year, it is not going to be any sweat off of Tony Khan's back. He's got more than enough to worry about and more than enough as far as the roster is concerned to give us banger shows on Wednesday and pay-per-views like Full Gear coming up. That should be awesome without Jeff Hardy. Guys, that's all I got. That is your extra today. I will have more news as it comes in. I am home tonight. Tonight we'll be live for SmackDown. Don't know what I'm doing as far as Rampage and Battle of the Belts. It's a big night, man. So I will leave it up to you guys if you want me to cover just SmackDown or everything tonight. I'm going to leave it up to you on social media, but I will be live tonight, regardless, right here from the OTS venue for tonight's Pro Wrestling on Friday night. And tomorrow, Extreme Rules, we will be live tweeting, and we will be live after the show is over. Big night tomorrow night as well for WWE, so keep it tuned right here on Off the Script. I will see you guys live tonight from the OTS venue for SmackDown and possibly AEW. Enjoy your Fridays. Until then, guys, I will see you all later after the wrestling tonight on Friday night. See you guys later.